G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all been well. It has been a little while in between drinks, hasn't it, since the last SuperCoach video, but I'd tell you what, for all the SuperCoach nutters like myself, and probably you, if you're watching this video, Christmas has come early again because the 2023 team picker has just landed. I think it came out at around lunchtime today because my phone just started going off. Beep, beep, beep. People going, what's going on? There's some sort of an emergency. I said, no, we're all good. I think I know what's going on, but I've just been flat out. It was kids' last day today. Once school finished, we then had the staff turn. So I raced home, obviously doing the speed limit, drive responsibly. I'm normally a pretty patient driver, and look, I still was, but I tell you what, wasn't letting anyone in that right-hand lane. I just wanted to get home. I've raced in, got the computer out, and opened this thing up. I haven't even looked at it yet. I was so tempted, but really just didn't even have the time. So we'll go through some of the player prices. I'll obviously select my first draft team of the year. It's not going to be set in stone. There's going to be a million changes. I know that lots of people don't actually like looking at the team picker this early or even locking a side in. They think that you develop some sort of an emotional attachment to particular players, which certainly can happen at the time. But for me, I just cannot get enough of it. I want to get into this as early as possible. So we'll obviously select the team today. Before we get into it though, just a bit of a pre-season update in regards to some of the content that I'll be doing this year. It'll be the same stuff as last year for a start. We'll obviously do the team weekly reviews. We'll do the SuperCoach. It's been that long. I'll tell you what. We will do the SuperCoach stock market videos each week. And also, I'm going to get together with Spills and get back to our weekly SuperCoach Swordplay podcast, which we'll upload on this channel as well. So that'll be all the stuff during the year. And what I'm really excited about though is some of the pre-season content that's going to be coming up. What I've been really keen to do is to start collabing with some of the best SuperCoach minds in the country, some of the blokes on YouTube, Twitter, some of the most respected names in the business, and I will be doing a team preview of all 18 clubs. So getting some of these guys on, and what's best about this is that the majority of people that are going to be sitting in to review these teams with Spills and I are actual supporters of the club. They know the ins, they know the outs. There's only so much knowledge that I've got about each side, so the fact that we can get some actual supporters coming in, that should be absolutely fantastic. I've got a list here, so we're obviously going to get the great George from Fantasy Take TV, talk about the Crows and his closet team, the Dogs. We'll get Janeth, former top 150 finisher, come on to talk about Carlton. Chris Dorry, ESPN draft expert, to talk about the Pies and also some of the rookies that we can select this year. That's going to be a really great one. Obviously, the great Spills, hopefully JD. For Essendon, we got the great Freo Tragic, veteran writer at supercoachtalk.com. All-round great bloke and great SuperCoacher. He'll be coming on to discuss a few teams, actually. That's really exciting. An up-and-coming SuperCoacher, SDS SuperCoach. That'll be really excited to have Steve on. We're getting the blokes from SuperCoach Edge. That'll be fantastic as well. We're getting Pear on, the most knowledgeable Port Adelaide supporter that you will find. He's got a great YouTube channel as well, so make sure that you check him out. He's been kind enough to donate some of his time to come on and talk about Port Adelaide. We've got Abdul from Abs Magic, finished 4th overall last year, so a great mind there. He'll be coming on to talk about the Tigers as well. Looking forward to this collab. The great Shorty, the pioneer of SuperCoach YouTubers, he'll come on to talk about Geelong. That should be fantastic there. Another bloke I'm super excited about. Now, you'll probably know who I'm talking about here. He is the sole admin of AFL Trade Rumours, over 60,000 members on Facebook. He's the host of the Kick It to Scoops podcast. The man himself, Cooper Gretsch, has been kind enough to come on as well and talk about his beloved Saints. There are lots of blokes that I've probably missed here. I just made a quick list here off the top of my head, so apologies if I have missed you, but I tell you what, this is a series that you will not want to miss. So thank you to everyone that's agreed to come on to do that. I'll be doing a heap of player profiles as well. I've crunched some of the numbers, particularly from the top midfielders in the comp as well. Looked at CBAs, got a heap of statistics that I'll be giving, and particularly for my members as well. Big shout out to the members of the channel. I'll have some really special content, particularly for you as well. So look, now that that's all out of the way, I've probably babbled on a little bit too long there. Let's actually start to pick this side. So we'll start off with the defense, and this is probably the line where I'm a little bit unsure this year and where I don't really want to have to necessarily spend up a lot. So Jack Sinclair, the highest priced defender at 626,200. Phenomenal season from him last year. I owned him for the majority of the year. Love his mullet, love his run off half back. Got a heap of the pill, lots of 1-2s. Generally used it well. Took some of the kick outs as well. Was a great selection. Now with Ross the Boss coming in, does his role change? What's the game plan going to look like? I'm not too sure. He's only really had the 1 year of ultra premium scoring as well, so for that reason I'm probably going to skip him as a starting pick. But if it looks like he's just going to continue on from what he did last year, he'll be one of the first blokes that hopefully I do bring into the side. James Sisler I really like. He's probably my second most preferred premium, I think, out of the list. Look, I'll chuck him in for now, but we know what he is. He's the general. He takes the majority of the kick-ins, interceptor, kicks the ball, kicks it long, kicks it regularly. So I'm not rapt to have to pay up 624 for him. If you got on early last year, which you really had to have a good season, he was one of the best starting picks or early jump-ons that you could have got, I think. But yeah, I'll put him in just for now. Tommy Stewart's another one who you'd love to start. At 604, I'm probably not going to go there. I'm a little bit worried that he may get some attention early on. We saw what happened to him last year. I jumped on him after he came back. Was it injury or suspension? Whatever it was. You know, he's always out for some sort of reason, isn't he, Tommy Stewart? But yeah, he was a little bit disappointing, and he did cop a fair bit of attention. So whether other teams, I don't know what their starting draw is like, will look to adopt some similar tactics, I'm really not too sure. So for that reason, I'm probably going to skip him. Sam Doherty, I don't mind as a pick at 600, but the man that I am going to select and absolutely lock in, and probably the defender that I do like the most, is Jordan Dawson. So I didn't actually own him for much of last year. I jumped on him pretty late, but it was too late by then. He'd already done the majority of his best work. What I really love about Dawson is the fact that if he does receive attention like Stewart, he just moves up the ground and manages to shake the tag 99% of the time and can actually be damaging up forward. Normally bobs up for a goal or two, even if pushing up onto a wing, super damaging inside 50. So wherever he plays, he seems to score pretty well. I really, really like the Dawson pick. So he's someone who, as I said, I'm absolutely locking in. Shannon Hearn, way too old. I did jump on him for the last round of last season and did pretty well. Sard, probably not. 567, not too bad though. Dale, 561. Going into last year, I thought he was going to be one of the safest picks around, but sort of just tapered off, didn't he? But for his overall average, still managed to hit over 100, which was nice. Witherden, you wouldn't even look there. Brayshaw, I'm really not sure about what his role is going to look like, but possibly he got right on the 100 for his season average in 2022. But for me, probably not as a starting pick. Vlosten, no. Houston, probably not. Aaron Hall, I'm not going to go near Hawley after what he did last year. Love him as a selection when he's up and firing, but you're worried each week, aren't you, about his durability? So no for me. Luke Ryan, 531, be a real pod. Now, apparently Richie's looking really, really fit in the pre-season, running really well, but probably not for me. With his age, we saw what happened last year. He did decline from his All-Australian season, but was carrying some niggling injuries, which wasn't really publicly documented. So, look, he could be a decent pick this year, Richie, but I'd assume that blokes like, I won't talk about them yet, but hopefully a few other guys will start to really overtake him and take over the mantle there. Cumming could be a decent selection, not someone that really excites me. Barras, yeah, it could be that intercept type player, but no. Redmond could be a really nice pod, 92 last year, possibly a little bit of value there. Young, I don't mind Young. At 508,000, I'm probably not going to take the risk. If it looks like he's going to be a really good selection, then possibly one to jump on. Surely he won't reach unreachable marks or prices, I don't think. May, a solid citizen. The Seagull would have been one of the first blokes would have locked in the past, but probably not for me anymore. Rioli, no. Alice, no. Ridley, could be interesting. Maybe a little bit of value there, given the fact his average was 91.6. We saw what he did at the start, not last season, but the season before. You almost had to jump on him. I did, then he got concussed or injured again. That's a different story. But look, he's someone that I'll consider if he's got the role pre-season. Does Redmond affect that? Possibly. This bloke, I am going to select at this stage. Now, Nick Dacos, we know what we don't know. He's one of the players in the comp, I think, that has untapped potential. We can't predict what he's going to be capable of in the future, but after what he did in his second season, and you think I'm crazy selecting a bloke in his second year of football at over 500,000, but he is a special player. Won the time trial, extremely fit. I think it was 4 kilos that he's put on as well. He's bulked up, may look to even push into the midfield this year, but we saw how damaging he was on halfback coming off there last year. Remember, at the start of the season, he was managing that foot injury. As soon as I traded him out, basically, he started to absolutely go off. So, yeah, due to those factors, I really, really like Dacos as a selection. The issue with this pick could be that he may receive some attention, some tight attention, because opposition coaches aren't just going to let him run free like he was able to do at stages during the year in 2022. So, look, there's a little bit of risk attached to him, but given the fact that he's an absolute freak, he's the fittest player at the club, he's stronger, I'm just going to get him in for now. So, really, really love the Dacos selection. Sam Taylor, probably not. Himmelberg, I wish he was just locked to play down back because I would really select him. His end to last season, if you look at that season average of 90.6, take into account that for a lot of the season, particularly the first half, he was playing as a forward. When he was moved down back, he scored like an absolute premium. So the numbers are a little bit deceptive there, but the issue is that the reports coming out of GWS is the fact that at times he has been training with the forwards. So Kingsley may look to use him as that swing man, and that's, we just don't want that. So as a defender, yes. As a potential forward, just no for me. Not interested there. Tui is a bloke that you just skip. Probably same as Daniel now. You wouldn't have said that a couple of years ago. Hind, not really. Luke McDonald, we had high hopes for him during the last couple of years. Didn't really come through. Duncan at his age, probably not for me. I will try to get through this pretty quickly. Obviously not go through great detail with each player. More probably the players that I will select. Clark McGovern, no. Heppel, no. Kitty Coleman, yeah, look, there's probably a little bit too much competition in Brisbane's backline at the moment to be paying up for a defender at over 450k, let's just say, in Coleman and Rich, for example. Andy McGrath, I don't mind as a pick. So if I needed to save money, Dawson's absolutely locked in. It would be possibly a Sicily down. Yeah, you got about 150k by doing that, and you're saving 25k if you're ultra desperate from a Dacos to a McGrath, but probably a move that I wouldn't like. But yeah, I'm really going to track his preseason closely. The Lizard Blakey, love watching him, but no for me. Not Howe. Scrimshaw, no. Atkins, yeah, with that midfield role, he could be a decent type selection, but probably going to skip him at this stage. Burne-Jones, no. Richards, he's probably affecting Dale and Daniel as Supercoach selections. Maynard, no. Moore is injured, which is probably good for another Collingwood rookie who was injured himself last year. Burton, no. Broad, no. Wilkie, Smith, Weller, Cox, Newman. Geez, Young had a great year last year, didn't he? Harris Andrews, hopefully he's back to his best form for us, but not as a Supercoach pick. Duggan, no. Baker had some good games last year, Supercoach-wise. Love watching CJ play. 427k. I'll track his preseason, see how he's going. Williams, absolutely not. Power, no. Fox, no. Today, 422,000. Maybe if we're ultra desperate, we'll look at him, track him. Bonner, nah, not really interested. Hill, what's his role going to be? I'm just not going to select him though at this stage. Chapman, a breakout contender, but you're paying over 400k. Not for me. Logue, no. Noble, no. Frampton, yeah, good news for him. About more, I'm not too sure, possibly. Ali, no. Battle, no. Hardwick, underrated pick. Salem at 390. Well, he's gone more than 95 odd before. Only 11 matches. Only played half the matches last year. I'll definitely track him. He is someone that I may potentially be interested in. If he gets him, to 500k after a couple of big games, because he has a pretty decent ceiling, Salem. Maybe something to look at. No for now, but yeah, I'm not completely going to discount him. Paddy McCartan was an awesome rookie for me last year. Scott, don't know what his role is going to be. Young, Zerk, Thatcher. I hope Adams comes good because I don't think that he's been at training. It's all from that issue last year, that concussion issue. So I hope he doesn't do a Justin Clark because we really need him this year, I think. Really important play for us. Starcevic, talk about an important play for us. He'll be an All-Australian this year. Lock it in. Bookmark that. Brandon Starcevic, All-Australian. Bowie, no. Good last year. Core Columns, Waitering, nah. Quainer, Lever, Laverde, Florent. I'm just going to skip through this pretty quick. Will Day could be an interesting type selection. Long, no. Patton, Frost, Jonas. Maybe I'm giving him a little bit too much disrespect to some of these guys. I'm just skipping through. McGovern, I just wouldn't look at due to durability. Learnt my lesson. Same as Yo. I'm surprised he's still playing. He just can't get on the park, Yo. Hugo, love watching him play. Farah, Tom McCartan. Yeah, look, I forgot to mention, what I'd really love is some nice value down back. Some of those mid-price, low mid-type 200 picks. If I can. I don't know who's going to be here. Going through this pretty quick. Haynes, probably not. Hunter Clark at 315. See, there's a name that you just put on your watch list. A possibility. Walker, Gibkiss. Braden Campbell, he could be someone that we look at. Jaden Hunt, probably not at that price. I'd like someone like a Campbell more, I think. Butts, Dawson. Jack Bowes. What's his role going to be? He had his choice of a lot of teams, didn't he? And he did decide Geelong. So would he choose Geelong knowing that he would be really struggling to get a game each week? I'm not too sure what guarantees he's being given, if any. Will he play through the midfield? I think that's where they are keen to troll him. We know that he can play down back. Well, he's got defensive status and defensive status only this year. Look, for now, let's just lock him in. Right. Massimo, Mackenzie Tomlinson, no, Buse, Buku, Chase Jones, Lockie Jones. Really rate him as a player. Love watching him play. Who knows what he could produce. Perez, Turner, no, Wilson, Sharman. I think Ross Lyon actually mentioned Sharman when talking about who could replace Max King. Not a direct replacement, but did talk him up a little bit. You're not going to pay $260K for him though, are you? Bazo, Murray, Stewart, Brass, Highmore, classic SuperCoach pick. No one here that I'm too interested in. Sam Darcy, who knows with him, probably not as a key position type. Leah, no. Cleary, Smith, Cleary. Jeez, he was frustrating last year, wasn't he? Just waiting for him to get that third game. Just terrible. Marchbank at 198. Again, I don't really trust his body. I actually work with his cousin. Get a bit of inside stuff on Caleb, but yeah, probably not for me. Now, where is this man? He's probably cheaper than what I thought. Okay, Gimby, here's a bloke who I think I'll get in. Look, he's playing for West Coast. Hopefully he'll be playing through the midfield. He's got defensive mid status, which is an absolute bonus as well. If you're going to lock a rookie in your back line, I think this is probably the bloke that you do lock in. I'm no expert, but as I said, we get Chris Dorry, aka Nightmare, on the channel to discuss a few of these blokes. Here he is. Connor McKenna. Now, the good thing is that he's 167K, and I think that he is in our 22 and he will play each week. The bad thing is that it sort of cancels out Darcy Wilmot for me at this stage. But look, what does McKenna bring? He brings pace. We've been into McKenna for a fair while. We had a crack at him a few years ago. Obviously went back home to Ireland, hasn't been playing, I think 2019 his last year, it might have been 2020, not too sure, but he's been out of the game for a little while, but been playing some Gaelic, won the Premiership, Championship, Grand Final, whatever you call it over there, but we really need his speed, I think, coming out of the back line. We're a little bit slow with blokes like your Rich types there. So he'll add an extra element for us. Can he push up to a wing? Possibly. A half forward? Maybe. We're pretty stacked up there in the forward line at the moment. But he should be in our 22. I think that he will be anyway. And if that's the case, at 167,000, I think he's just going to be a really easy lock for us. So I'm really excited, and we got him for absolute peanuts. It's no risk. Get him in, beautiful. Pay nothing for him. Category B rookie is McKenna. Jimmy Madden, that's disastrous for him with blokes like Wilmot and McKenna in front of him. Morris, Weddle, an earliest type pick. Talks nightmare about him. Sam Banks, heard a little bit about in the pre-season. We'll probably just go, Campbell, Chesser. Constable, probably not. Charlie Dean. Now, this is a bloke I was alluding to when I was talking about Moore being injured before. at 123,900. If he steps up, even if it's for 5 or 6 games at the start of the season, he'll make us a little bit of coin. He'll be a decent starting pick, so I'll probably just lock him in and just listen out for pre-season news coming out of Collingwood. We'll look at who else. Do you know what? I have to do this. Sorry, I'm just going to get Dean out. We've all got to do this. Let's get his ownership up to 100%. The classic pre-season rookie, the man that some people doesn't even think exists. Will Gould. We're going to lock him in as our last defensive rookie. Lord, Mackesy, don't know what's going on with him. Ruck, Smith, Turner. There's Wilmot there. Look, who knows? He could play. He obviously played the last couple of finals, but this other bloke, Cowan as well. So maybe be two. No. Look, let's just do it for now. Pretty keen on Cowan, actually. Disposal might get an early game off half back for the Blues. Wagner possibly. Is that mature ager? Been in the system for a little while then out. And then we get to our rookies there. So, look, probably should put Sicily back there. But at this stage, let's just run with that. I don't know how long the video's going for. Let's sort of move on a little bit. Now, let's get to the midfield. We've got 2 blokes here that are, well, let's just basically round up Oliver, another couple of hundred to 700k, along with his mate, Rory Laird. Underrated player, I think, Rory Laird. Do you select these players? Do you pay 700k for them as starting picks? We know this for a fact, that they'll come down in price. That's an absolute given. I will save most of this info for another video that I'm probably halfway through at the moment. I'm going to lock both of these blokes in, knowing that they'll probably go down a little bit, but out of the top 10 midfielders last year, the top 10 most expensive midfielders going into the season last year, only 4 players actually went above their initial starting price. 2 of those players were Oliver and Laird. And the other great thing about Oliver and Laird is that they had the lowest range in between their highest price and their lowest price as well, particularly this man, Rory Laird. I've got 2 captaincy options every week as well. So I know that I am really paying up for these 2 blokes, but I think it's going to be worth it. I know that they'll obviously go down, but Laird just doesn't get tagged, gets a heap of the pill each week, and I think that he'll continue to do so. Just so reliable. Maybe it's a bit of FOMO from last year. I never had this great man in my side, which you probably might turn off now. Go, well, why am I even watching you in this video if you never had Rory Laird? I tried, but I just thought, no, I'm making too many compromises to my side to try to bring him into this price. I just left my run too late. I'm not going to do the same thing this year. So these are 2 blokes that are ultra reliable. We know with Clary that he can come down towards that 600k mark, but as we saw last year, the week before most of us were going to jump on him, and most of us did jump on him for those that didn't actually start him, he got a ridiculous score. I can't remember what it was. He had a massive break even, but got close to it in the end. So this man is an absolute beast. He's an animal, and he's going to be a great captaincy option each and every week. So I'm going to lock these 2 great men in. Lockie Neal, I would love to lock in as well, but look, Josh Dunkley's come into the side now. Does that help Lockie in regards to a tag? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to tag Neal. I don't think they're going to tag Dunkley. Possibly McCluggage, if he starts to go off there. I still think Neal's going to be the number 1 tag target. So it's scary because he normally starts the season really, really well and you're regretting things. But for now, due to the fact that I'm locking Laird and Oliver in at a really, really ultra high price, I'm going to skip the great man. This hurts me as well. I'm going to skip Took, but love him as a pick. Do you know what? I'm going to just skip through a lot of these players. I'll do a heap of videos during the preseason. Mills I'm going to skip for now. Bonds I would love to select, but 639, mid only. Oh, look, Champion Data love him. I'm not too sure. Bonds and McRae, I'll probably end up starting one of the 2. But for now, I'm just going to skip him. I'm going to skip both of them just for now. Tracknell's a starting pick, a little bit off. Merritt, 2 up and down. Brayshaw, respect to him after his season, but I'm just not going to start him this year. Hewitt, no. Back issues, way too expensive anyway. Cripper, 611. The Brownlow medal winner, no for me. Walsh, yeah, well, he's obviously out. You can't go anywhere near him. Maybe a Parrish, 610, I think is pretty good value for Darcy Parish, but talk about good value. I'm going to lock this man in. Jack Steele at 604k. Look, number 15 on this list. At his best, he's definitely top 6. He's top 5, 6 at his absolute best. Actually, at his absolute peak, he's a top 3. At his worst, I think he's probably around the 15 mark. So for me, I think he's going to be one of those players that I lock in at the start. A lot of it's due to the fact that he's just over 600k. It's still expensive for a player, I understand that. But for a man of Steel's capabilities, I don't think it is too expensive. Let's round it up to 110. He's gone 120 plus on 2 occasions for a season average now. So there is value in him. We know what he's going to produce. Even with Ross coming in, this man's role just won't change. He's going to continue what he does best. That is, get the contested pill, tackle hard, bob up for a goal here and there. I'm just going to lock him in at this stage. Love the Steel selection. Dunkley, I am going to lock in as well, but obviously in the forward line, given the fact he has maintained that DPP status. Kelly, absolutely not as a starting pick. Wines, I'm not really interested in, along with Boak. Libba has issues at the moment, so no to him. Parker, and just never start him. Maybe jump on him if he gets really cheap. Crouch, I wouldn't go near. Klug, well, there's so many blokes that are going to run through that midfield. I'm not sure. I expect him to pretty much continue his role. Dunkley probably comes in for Lions more than anything, but at 570k, as much as I'd love to do it, and this man, don't get me wrong, could win a Brownlow one day, and I hope that he will, but just not at 570k for a starting pick. Brody, awesome last year, but no. Cogs will talk about in the forward line. LDU, 550k, could be worth the shout. Probably not, though. I'm going to get a bloke that I still haven't seen yet, who's obviously going to be under him. Anderson, I think he could be a real breakout. His disposal, though, isn't the greatest, which does concern me. Keys had a great start to last year, then found himself in the forward line. Guthrie, how old's Guthrie now? I'm not too sure. I just assume everyone's old at Geelong. But no for me. Shorty's a midfielder, no. Where will he play? Down back? Probably. I'd assume he'd play down back, given the fact that Richmond have some great midfield additions now. Maybe on a wing up forward. He could really play anywhere. I'm really not too sure, so I wouldn't go near him. Baz, no. Blitzovs could be a great pod during the year, possibly. Ross, no. Green could be worth a shout, given the fact that Hopper and Transo, the 2 blokes I was just alluding to before, heading to the Tigers, they're now gone, so a lot more responsibility for him. Yeah, I'll really track him as well. Viney, no. Warner, I would love to select. Yeah, we'll discuss him another time. Kennedy, no. Trelaw, no. Butters is a forward. 528,000. I'm going to get Titch in for now. One of those value picks. So what I'm hoping here is that I'm purchasing my M8 for the year. What's going to happen at Collingwood, I'm not too sure. But what I do know for a fact is that last year his CBAs went right out the window. They went right down. That's what the pattern suggested. And his scores really, really suffered as a result. Moving to Collingwood, I think that they'll definitely play him in the midfield. That's where he plays his best footy. That's where he's at his most damaging. Or we don't really associate Titch as being a damaging type player necessarily, do we? But what we do associate with him is being an absolute SuperCoach pig of the past. So at 528,000, I just can't ignore the value at the moment. I'm not a huge fan of this selection, but I'm a big fan of the price and the potential of Titch as well. I'm certainly not writing him off as a player. So I'm going to lock him in just for now. Believe me, there are many other blokes that could take this spot, but they are probably the 4 guys that I'm looking at to start in my midfield above 500k. I'm hoping there's going to be a little bit of value around for us as well. Pendles, no. Crispy is a mid only at 520. Perriman, no. Prestia will be the 3rd midfield cog at Richmond, but he actually played 18 games. I didn't realise that. You hardly ever see him, it seems like, on the park. Rosé, I'll discuss in the forward line. Shiel, no. Amon, too expensive for me. Ellis, no. Chera, no. Taranto's a forward. Lyons, don't know if he's best 22. He'll be pushing hard. Had a bit of off-season surgery as well. Just was not right last year. We just wrote him off basically when he did go back to the twos, had a set shot from 35 out and could not make the distance. The poor bugger, he's been great for us, but just not going to select him. Simpkin, he could really step up this year. Possible breakout premium contender, along with Sarong. Pretty similar type picks there. Probably prefer Sarong as a player. Tui, no. Crouch, not close to 500. Gresham, no. Rowley, love him, but no, probably not there. Heppel, Bolton, he'll be great, then he'll be terrible. Dusty, nah. Berry's an interesting type player. Who you got there? Laird, Berry. Yeah, probably not as the starting pick, though. Talked about McGrath. Newcomb. I think this guy will be an absolute gun. I don't have the kahunas to start him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be something similar to like a Josh Kennedy type player. I know they really rate him down there as well. Saw a video with him and Lethal having a chat. So, one of Lethal's favourite players to watch. Was he just saying it in front of the camera? I actually don't think so. I think he generally enjoy watching his style there. Tim Kelly, no way. Great news that Lachie Whitfield is a mid only, because at 473,000, I'd almost be forced just to lock him into my defensive line there. Shuey, he will hardly be on the park, knowing his injury history. Lipinski, no. Jager's gone. Errol, no. Drew Ward, is he still playing? I thought he might have retired, to be honest. DeGoey and DHP, no. Rowbottom, big breakout contender for me this year, but no. Gaff, Atkins, Danger, Akers, great addition for Carlton. I think they got him on the cheap side as well. Koch, probably phased out. The Beast, not now 22. Caldwell, no, you're not going. Adams, Jed Anderson, Smith, great grand final. Skipping through a few of these blokes. Rap Bailey, no. Cunnington, 419. Damn. I had him pegged definitely in the 300s. So that's unfortunate. Maybe my maths was just off. Ben Cunnington, 419. I'll skip him for now. He's a forward, so we'll see. We'll get back to him in the forward line. No, Sloan in perfect Billings. Cannot stand him as a player. So inconsistent. Nothing personal to him. No, Stevens, Nash, Langford. Langford got bad memories when I traded him in a couple of seasons ago. Horn Francis, how's he going to go? Josh Ward, not at 350k for me. Port's. No, I'm gonna ask Pear about Horn Francis and the other Port blokes obviously as well. Setterfield, not at 350. Jamont, Rioli. Actually, Willie, have they got him as junior? No, Willie. Oh, absolutely, this man. Look, I'm going to do a player profile on Hopper. He's going to be one of the most owned players this year, I think. So, this is the other man. 332. Dom Sheed. Now, he has gone 90 plus, I think, from memory. Did he play last year at all? One match for 67. So, look, with West Coast midfield at the moment, a fit and firing Sheed, surely he spends major minutes in there. He's got to, doesn't he? Durability, obviously, isn't great. I don't even really know what the issue was last year. I'm going to do a player profile on him. I'm going to really focus on the value mid-pricer types with the play profiles rather than the premium picks, because we know most of these blokes by now. Look, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to lock him in for now, and then I'll probably go into him. Well, I will go into him in a lot more detail, but he could get up to 455 easily if he gets on a decent stretch. So I'm going to lock him in for now. Schoenberg, Elijah Hollins, love him as a player. Fife at 313. He's a forward, so let's just skip him for now. Warple, possibly Power. Tarrant Thomas, look at all these forwards. Oh, man. All right, let's just... Cooper Stevens. Darcy Tucker's another one that I'm halfway through. Almost finished doing a player profile on. I'm going to skip him for now. Sam Flanders, 250. Finn Callahan, really not sure what's happening in GWS midfield. That's going to be a really interesting watch. Carmichael, I might just be skipping through players here too quickly. Absolute lock. I'm not even going to talk about him. Jeez, everyone, lock in Will Ashcroft. Lock him in. He's in our best 22 already. Wardlaw, probably with the blokes I've got in already, probably keener on some more value. Tobe McLean is a forward as well. You are joking. Hollins. Actually, think it back to the back line. Liam Jones. Wonder what he's priced at. Fletcher. Hopefully he'll be a player in the future. Ed Allen. Possibly for the Pies. Bigger body type. This man definitely. Connor Blakely. Come across some Freo, obviously. See if I can round this out with Some other cheaper guys here. Sharp, no. Josh Sin, yep. Mid forward, okay. Thought he'd be mid defence maybe, but cool. We'll get him in for now. Corey Wagner. Huey Bond. Cooper Harvey, good assumption boy. Long Jones. Richards. Wagner, maybe is that mature ager. Get him in. Gilby, don't know much about him. Okay, so we're one down. Who are we going to go? Maybe I do need to pay up a little bit more for now. I did make that reverse in the back line as well, didn't I? So I've probably got a little bit more in the bank than what I should have. Let's just go Ed Allen for now. I might have missed a decent mid-price there. Apologies. I just sort of want to get a bit of a move on, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of other blokes and wonderful ladies as well uploading their sides. We'll make this... No, you can probably see well. Oh, well, the ruck line. Here we go. No way to max with Brody. Witts is expensive, but is probably my number one preferred ruck, or who I predict will be the highest scorer this year, along with these probably two next blokes here, English and Darcy. You've got Rob there. You've got Nick Nat, who you're not going to go near. Look, I've been tossing and turning. Ideally, what I'd really love to do is sort of get a decent R1, a mid-price at R2, and then hopefully a playing rookie. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though. This is going to change a heap during the preseason, but I'm just going to lock in, as George would say, Mr. Spicanol English, Mr. Timmy Slim Tim. If he starts the year like he did last year, which was like an absolute house on fire, he could potentially hurt you. Again, we saw him miss many games, only played the 15 last year. We've only seen really one decent season, which was last year. We are paying close to 600k for him, so definitely not set in stone. Darcy, we all know what the big concern is there. Well, there's a couple of concerns. The fact that Jackson's come across. I think they're going to play him as that key forward, though, which should alleviate slightly that concern there. But who knows? We don't know that for sure. The other thing that I was a little bit disappointed with last year was his lack of ceiling. He didn't have a couple of those monster games that we saw the year before. So that does concern me slightly there. Durability, 19 games. Didn't play all of them, but historically we do worry about him. So I'm going to skip him for now. But yeah, the potential to be the R1 for us this year if all things go well. Blitzarves, no. Nank had him for a little while last year. Goldie not at his age. Brundy, I don't think that you can. What's I call him? Brundy. That probably works, doesn't it? Brundy, we'll go with it. That won't work at 512 without having confirmation on his role. What's his ruck split going to be? As a forward, not interested. As a pure ruck, absolutely would be. But sharing with Max, who knows what's going on there. This is the other bloke. Well, these are the two blokes here. Rowan and Darcy Cameron. Do I go with both of them? One in the forward line? Possibly. I'm not too sure. Well, it would have to be Cameron in the forward line, wouldn't it? Look, I'm just going to lock in Rowan for now. What happens with King out? Really not too sure. And I'll keep going through Cameron, Hickey, Jackson, finlayson, Meek. I wish he was around that 300 mark, because he'd be a name I'd definitely look at. Lysette, there's been a little bit of talk about. We'll look into him when we do our ruck review line by line. To Koning, Draper. I was speaking with Joey when I did a podcast with Big J the other night on his channel. He's pretty keen on Sam Draper. So when we do the Essendon preview, I'll be interested to hear the bloke's thoughts there. An interesting type player. Pitney, no. Fort, no. Sigler, Hayes. Reeves is probably the other one down at the Hawks who's going to be fighting for that R1 position. I reckon they're probably neck and neck at the moment. I really like Meek as a player, so for me, he'd be the preferred option, but I'm no Hawthorn expert. We'll get Steve on to discuss the Hawks. Sweet, no. Cox, no. Callum Jones, no. Williams, absolutely not. Actually, there could be a rookie from West Coast. Soldo, Lynch, no. Briggsy, no. All right, so let's get to these rookies here. Conway, Edwards, Heathy, possibly with Ryder now retired. Moyle, Samson Ryan is a big boy. This bloke here, Harry Barnett. So he was the first ruckman taken in the draft. I think he was an earlish type pick from memory, but pretty big raps on this guy. We know that Nick Nat is aging and his durability is just shocking, as we know. I don't think he's having a great preseason either. There's some sort of an issue with him from memory. Williams, who I just saw before, and that's what jogged my memory about Barnett. I just don't rate him as a player. Is Hugh Dixon still on the list? I've got a feeling he might have been delisted. So Barnett could be a possibility. If you're going for your loophole, and I will if I select Cameron, I thought there was meant to be a Freo guy. I thought Reedy was... thought news came out that there was going to be a Freo guy. It looks like it's Nicholas Madden. So I'll just chuck him in for now anyway, so you can get familiar with the name. Don't know much about him. I thought there was meant to be a Freo guy. But anyway, we'll just lock him in for now. What's this salary cap looking like at this stage? Almost 3 mil. So I'm concerned about taking Sicily out down back though, because I don't like the structure. Let's just lock some of these guys in. Dunkley, absolutely. Cogs is going to be in high consideration for me. Again, I don't really see him playing major forward minutes. He should be locked into that midfield with their outs there. But I'll wait and see what happens during the preseason. Don't love paying that much for him. A bargain pick, one of the better picks that you would have selected last year in your starting side. Isaac, no. Butters, I just, due to his kamikaze style play, I'm going to skip him for someone else that he's very, very close with. Dylan Moore is going to be a wicked pod. Kat is a big fan of him. I know that Causa, I was speaking to the other day through Twitter, he's going to lock him in as a pod. Dylan Moore certainly has his fans at 521,000. I think it's a decent option. I'm not going there myself because I think we saw before how many value options there were when I was skipping through some of the midfielders that had that forward DPP status. I'm going to skip him for now. But yeah, it could be a fantastic selection. No to the Tomahawk and Lynch. The Tomahawk may enter into my side later on the season. This man, I absolutely love. DPP status. If you look at his year when he was actually played through the midfield, and that's where he should play, he's got the potential, in my humble opinion, to be a top 3 player in the competition. Don't worry about a top 3 player at Port, a top 3 player in the comp. He has freakish ability, mad skills, he's courageous. He's got a bit of everything, Rosie. So I think this is the year where he really stamps himself on the competition, similar to what, maybe a Brayshaw did last year, or even go further than that. So I'm a big fan of Rosie, and I really want to start him. Is he absolutely locked and throw away the key? No, but very, very keen. Dunkley is the bloke that is locked in and throw away the key type, and maybe Taranto could be. Look, we know he's a butcher. I understand this, but his role at Richmond should be to play major midfield minutes. We know he's a half-capable forward as well. He'll certainly rest in the forward line and play some minutes there, or I expect him to anyway. We'll get Abs Magic on to discuss this. I've got to get Eno on also to discuss the Tigers, the great man Eno. So it's going to be interesting to see what their views are and opinions are. But for me personally, he's a midfielder first and foremost. That's why they recruited him. I don't think they recruited him to play up forward. They've got someone like a Dusty that's going to transition there and do that now. A Bolton that can also do that in the forward line. So for me, I'm going to lock him in at just above 500k. I'm not expecting him to give you massive numbers each week, but I think that he should definitely go a decent 100 and a little bit more. His foot skills aren't the best, but he does a lot of good things, Tim Taranto. So I'm going to lock him in at this stage. Himmelberg, shattered about him. Tex will skip. Cameron will skip. Same as Dixon, Gresham. Bolton to inconsistent. Dusty, no. Lipinski, lots of these guys have already seen. Now, this issue with Darcy Cameron, what am I looking like? What am I affording here? No, I won't be able to afford Cameron anyway. So, look, I'm going to skip him for now. But he could be easily an English or a Marshall for me, Darcy Cameron. I actually like him as a selection. Jackson, no. Hogan, no. Finlayson was impressive when he was in the ruck. Zorks, no. But again, like Rich, heard that he's actually looking pretty good at the moment. None of these blokes interest me. Probably the only bloke we didn't recruit in the off-season we'll link to was Big Bud, which I'm absolutely wrapped with. Was not interested in him. Gunston, A-OK. I was a big no for Buddy. Green, no, love him as a freak. Back to Cunnington. Look, he may make his way into my probably make his way in when I make a change next in my next video, but I'm just going to leave him for now. I need to think deeply about Ben Cunnington. I must have done the maths wrong, and it was going to be an easier lock for me. 420k. Yeah, I need to look into it more. But he plays his best footy there, doesn't he? He's a spiritual leader. He's the hard body there. I just don't know what Clarko's plans for him are. I know he's definitely playing... Did he get an extension? Did I remember a video about that? Possibly. That may come into calculations if he is... Yeah, we'll get back to Cunnington anyway. Very, very interesting selection this year, Ben Cunnington, at that price. Power Pepper Logue, no. Lewis Fisher. Sorry, guys, I'm going to get through this quicker. King, such bad luck to the young fella. We'll open up opportunities for others, though. Ross will have to start planning. I've probably missed guys as well. I know I'm going through pretty quick, but I know there was some other guys before that that did present some good value, I think. West. Okay, here we go. This sort of price range. What are we looking at? It's an awkward price range. I normally prefer to go with the fallen premiums. Maybe those blokes come back from injury rather than that breakout contender. But, you know, roles come into play. Certainly don't be afraid to go with the breakout contender if your gut's right and the data, you know, looks favourably on it. 5. Let's... 313k. Blokes like Cunnington. 5. There's so much discussion that's needed for these picks, and I'm not going to do it now. We'll see who else is available. Hippie, hopefully he does big things. Won't be Supercoach-wise, obviously, from a Brisbane supporter's point of view. Tommy Powell, what's he going to do with himself this year? Not too sure. Dan Butler, Martin Soldo. Taron Thomas. So a Taron Thomas at 295 or a Fife at 313. If Fife starts on fire, he could bloody hurt you, couldn't he? Both got DPP status. Where does Thomas play? Simpkin, LDU, Cunnington. Coming off a half back. Off a wing, forward. I like him possibly off half back. It's a risky one. Let's just get him in for now. I need to start selecting a couple of these mid prices. Do I? Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is going to be real tough. Let's get back up. What have I got? 919. So, yeah, okay, interesting. SBS, Rosus, Connor McDonald, Darcy Tucker. No for now, but could make his way in. Just wait for the player profile vid. Fullerton, a miss. Owens, oh geez, unlucky with Owens last year, weren't we? Particularly those that started him. I didn't start him. I just jumped on board before the first price rise before he done himself a doozy again. Jekka, okay. Am I missing a couple of the blokes that have I skipped through a couple of blokes that I was meant to talk about before, maybe? Francis Humphrey McLean. Here he is. I love the McLean pick. Remember what he did? How long ago was it now? Geez, it was a few years ago. But he was a premium selection. Really courageous type player. Almost detrimentally courageous, I think. Really puts his body on the line and tends to get injured a lot, unfortunately. But at 178k, I'm absolutely locking this bloke in. Great DPP status as well. Who else we got? Philippou, Corbett, Kyle Lohman. Big hopes for him, but it's going to be hard to break into that Brisbane forward line. Tommy Berry. I love Tommy. I'm really actually glad for him that he went to Gold Coast, got to stay living with Jared, and will get a great opportunity there. Hopefully, fingers crossed for him. Honestly, wish him all the success in the world. So I'm just going to lock him now. Got a lot of love for him. Comben should get games as a forward, but as a key forward, you wouldn't be expecting any great scores. I'm in a little bit of trouble here, am I? To fill out the bench. So what have I got? Berry at that rookie price. Ruck, Ryan, Sarong, Sin. So maybe I could possibly get Sin into that midfield. Wagner, White, Williams, Constantine. Maybe a Charlie Clark. Lock him in. I thought that the Dogs got pretty good value in Clark. Cooper Harvey. Shadow Brain, best name in the comp. So I'm one down here. All right, what is this looking like? It's probably enough for a Fifey Cunnington type. Or a Darcy Cameron. Which means that... Oh, yes, I've got my 2 bench there. So, do I go back here and maybe lose... See, if I lose one of these guys, I'm going to have McKenna. I don't want him on the bench. I don't want to be paying this much on the bench. So, actually, no, sorry, I'll lie. I'll have Cowan there. So, probably for balance, I should go Sicily here. But I will actually, just for now, see what it looks like. Stack that. So, it's going to be a Fife, a Cunnington. I am just going to go Darcy Cameron for now as that high price type player. Let's see how this is actually looking. Save my team. First draft done. Not a heap of thought gone into it. There was players that I was going to lock in for sure. But is that going to come up in a different screen, is it? No, so I've just saved my team. So I'll just go back to my team. So yeah, so for anyone that's confused, when you log in, remember, SuperCoach Gold subscribers, you got to click on this thing here because you see your old team and you're like, I can't trade. You hover over and you can't trade, you can't swap or do any of that sort of business. So you do need to click on 2023 Team Picker, and I'm hoping that... Oh, I thought I'd have a bigger screen. Oh, but at least all the rookies have gone to the bench, so that's good. All right, so the back line is looking really bare at the moment, but that's probably where I'm having the most struggles. We've gone with Dawson, Dacos, Bose, Ginby, McKenna, Cowan, Gould, who it won't be Gould, but just for shits and giggles, Chesser, rounding out the back line there. We've got Laird, Oliver, Steele, Mitchell as the 4 sort of premium type picks. Then Hopper, who I think you've just got to select. He presents great value. His role there is going to be phenomenal. He's going to be the CBA king. Just lock him in, I think, at that price. Sheed, identical price. He's got maybe a couple more question marks for me, but pretty strong midfield to this stage. Ashcroft, I think he'll play every week, 200k. And then Blakely, I don't know if he's going to feature in Gold Coast Best 22, but that mature type player, they've got me across, hopefully for a reason. I'll just, give him a field spot for now. Ed Allen to Collingwood. Does he get matches? I'm not too sure. Sin as that high draft pick from last year. Wagner as that mature age player. The rookies, they're just going to be chopping and changing all the time. Basically, what I do with the rookies is whenever I hear a positive preseason report about someone in particular, I'll just get someone out, bring that bloke in, just so the team's sort of updated as the news comes out. Going down a little bit now, so the Rucks with English and Marshall at this stage. Then you've got Madden there as that DPP swing that can actually go with Cameron. So we're going to get Berry off, Cameron on. Yeah, is the forward line too stacked? Yeah, probably the balance is lost a little bit there. So how much have I got in the bank? 33k. So look, there's a few changes that obviously I could make. Maybe I could do something like this, for example. So you get Bose out. I could get someone like a Cameron out. And then what are we looking like for the salary cap? Let's get Mr. Sicily in just for balance. And then I've got 150k. We'll swap. Let's even swap Josh Sin up there. Can we do that? Swap. No, we can't, can we? That's all right. All right, well, we'll just get someone random for now to come in. Lowest to highest. All right, what do we got? 150 okay. Ollie Houghton. Maybe an Ollie Houghton. Don't know what his junior numbers are like. Can't wait to speak with Chris Story from ESPN when he comes on the channel. McRae, do you go him? Oh, come on. Yeah, let's get someone in. Let's do this. Jefferson, Loman, no, Dempsey. Oh, well, let's go someone random. Stop. All right, Fisher. No, I can't do it. McRae, let's go McRae. which would mean one of these blokes on the field, isn't it? So I can possibly just bring Sin onto the field there. All right, let's save this again. So this is probably the more balanced version of the side, having Sicily, Dawson, and Dacos. So what do we've got? We've got a 3-4-2-3 type setup. You've got your value picks there in your Thomas, your McLean, your Sheed, your Hopper, your McKenna. That's probably a bit more balanced, isn't it? Well, look, guys, that is the first draft team for 20... Are we going to say... I'm just going to call it 2023. This is the first draft team for 2023. As I said, far from being set in stone. Probably when I upload this, I'm going to just jump back on again after I see my little fella out there and make another change, because I'm not even happy with what I've done here. But I know that I haven't gone into great detail, but just gave you some quick thoughts. That is where I'm going at the moment. And obviously, can we do the VC and the C? Yep, let's just give Laird respect as a captain. Oh, it doesn't even come up, does it? And Oliver, does it? I can see a blue on him. I can't really... Maybe I'm going colourblind, but I can't really see that on... Oh, yeah, slightly I can. Thought I was losing it there. But that is it for now, guys. As I said in the intro, doing a heap of preseason content. Really appreciate all these legends coming onto the channel. I'm going to get Spill's actually coming down tomorrow. We're going to get a couple of these team previews done. So really looking forward to that and catching up with the great man, because it has been a little while. And I haven't chatted with a few of you other legends as well in a very, very long time, since the end of last season. So that is it for now, guys. I don't know how long this has gone for. I have banged on way too much, but hopefully, particularly for those people that don't actually have access to the team picker yet, at least I've gone through basically every price from every player, which should have helped you out. Even if you've got a notepad, a computer doc, an Excel spreadsheet or something, whack your team in, get the prices going with your salary cap, etc. You can put formulas in if you're really good with Excel. Get it going. You don't have to pay up the $25. I'm happy to let you know prices, thoughts, etc. But really wait for the team previews, where we're going to get the experts on and we'll delve deep into every side. So take care, guys. Hope all is well. Enjoy getting your first draft done. Hopefully, there's some other blokes that have got their teams done. Do you know what? I'm actually probably 100% sure that George has got his done. He probably would have just dropped everything that he was doing, finished work early to get to it. I'm hoping, NOJDs, all the legends. I won't go through everyone, but I'm very much looking forward to checking out some of the other teams now. So that's it for now, guys. I will see you soon. Much peace, much love. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers, bye.